Sunday morning with no way to hold my head. That didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. Then I fumbled in my closet through my clothes and found my cleanest dirty shirt. Then I washed my face and combed my hair. Hair. Hey, Wolverine, Brandon, Hayden, Empire Jeff, Johnny Boy, Unboo, Trevor, Jason, Josen. Susan, did Susan send out some notifications? She's sorry. She didn't mean to. It was an accident. Skullhead Free Floral Friday. Wow, that's a tough one. Free Floral Friday. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to say that a couple times. Morgan! Finally have a day off to catch the stream. Bless. Oh, good to have you, Morgan. I'm glad you could be in with us. Very, very cool. Hope everything's gone well with the move and everything. Nicholas, I watched some of those Black Man Angry at before. He's a funny dude. He's a funny guy that was, what were they? It was angry at fast food restaurants, I believe. Hey, BTG. Alex says, how old are you, Chris? Last Saturday was my 31st birthday. Happy birthday, little weight. A little weight. I wish I had a little weight. I got a lot of weight. Today is my wife's birthday. And she's up. My wife's fanatical for things. She couldn't take being home all the time, so she went back to work a couple days a week at the senior residence that she retired from. And she works Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but my wife is like the queen of the holidays. And because of the holidays, she went out and rented a Easter Bunny costume, and she's up there playing Easter Bunny for the old folks right now. Joe says, hey, Thick Daddy, congrats. How are the symptoms? From the shot, Joe? Oh, piece of cake. They lasted about 5 or 6 hours. Like I said in that video, you know, that's the main thing that caused me to make the video. Was I was kind of laughing to myself because I had those, this town is so much nicer than the previous one. Oh, that's good, Morgan. I'm glad to hear that. When I was having the symptoms, it was just so reminiscent of the day, or, well, sometimes the week after getting a concussion in a fight. Excuse me. It just struck me as funny, but they lasted, again, I woke up that morning, the day after the shot, and felt a little tired more than anything else, just more dragged than usual. Then about midday would have been probably like a little over 24 hours from when I got the shot. Those symptoms that I described to you guys in the video kicked in, but they lasted like, again, 5-6 hours. They were gone. I took I'd taken some Advil, laid down, closed my eyes for a little bit. By the time I gotten up, I was feeling better, and then the next morning, all the symptoms were completely gone. BTG says, worst of my shot was the arm ache afterwards. My wife had that too, BTG. Her arm was sore. Mine didn't get sore. I'll tell you, it could be too. My shoulders are so wrecked. Actually, they're a little better than they were. My shoulders are so wrecked that I got the shot in my left arm, and my left shoulder is much worse. And they're so close together. The shoulder pain is right in here, right in this part of the shoulder. The shot was right here. So even if the shot hurt, I probably wouldn't be able to differentiate it between the pain I have in the shoulder all the time. Demonic Jester says, what did the helicopter say to the mountain? Kobe! That was one of the most brutal memes of the year. Was that one, the picture of God taking a shot with a helicopter, tossing it into the side of a mountain and going, Kobe. 12:43 here and already got me beer, Cthulhu says. I'll say that. I never thought to mention this to you guys, and it's particularly appropriate with it being Free For All Friday and being one of our chat streams. Hey, Morgan, you're stream boss too. It's a testament to how much I enjoy you guys and what I'm willing to sacrifice for you guys, because with both shoulders torn up, and again, the right one's gotten significantly better. The left one's still pretty much a piece of shit. But as of like last month, the shoulders were really bad. And one thing that causes tremendous pain to them is to flex the trap muscles like this. And so every time we would have a regular chat video and I would disperse the sticky stuff at the very end, I knew it was coming too. I would intentionally try not to flinch because I didn't want you guys to see it. And I would go like this, and it's like, both shoulders would just fucking light up with pain. Anbu says, what's up, Brother Curtis? Have an awesome Friday, my guy. You too, my friend. I woke up sad as hell recently. Got dumped, but your videos are a great pick-me-up, honestly. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, pal. I mean, it's easy for me to say, but don't let it get you down. There's always another relationship on the horizon. There's always, I honestly believe that. There's always something better out there to be found. That sucks. But I'm glad it picked your spirits up some. BTG says your green screen looks great, by the way. Couldn't tell it's fake if you didn't know. Your VTuber avatar also looks just like you. I was just gonna say that, BTG, as I was reading through it. I was gonna say, well, not only the green screen, but look at this VTuber rig I got. Yeah. I mean, it's ugly, but it's kind of realistic looking. Wolverine says, check last post. The world isn't flat or round. It's the same type of stand as Star Platinum. Lud says, hello, having an existential crisis today? Because I just realized we're 1/3 into 2021 already. What the fuck? That's fucked up, dude. Well, no, only a quarter, though. Right, Lud? Because we're at the end of March, so it'd only be a quarter. It's still bad. Because end of April would be a third. Oh, that's still hard to think about. Even being a quarter in is like, you're right. When you think of it that way, it seems, because doesn't it, well, I'm sure Lud's of the same mind. Doesn't it seem like 2021 just began? Yeah, but we're a full quarter in already. End of the first quarter, and there's no score because it all sucks. Jesse says, been a while. Spanky the Manky, baby. Yeah. Good to see you, Jesse. Especially if you're going to bring the Spanky the Manky. Joe says, sounds like it would be painful for you to nut. No, I don't put that much effort into a nutting, Joe. I put a way more effort into the pose for the end of the streams. I did no sell it, Stormstar. It was funny because I would be conscious of it. Well, when they were that painful, you can't help but be conscious of it. The pain's always there. And we'd get right to the end and it'd be like, ah! But now it's not so bad. Now, like today, I'll feel it in my left shoulder and the right shoulder, but nothing like it was. And the right shoulder's still messed up, but not with any significant pain unless I put stress on it. And a big part of it's my fault, too. They could probably be better by now, but I refuse to quit working out. I mean, when I lift weights, I can work around the injury as much as possible, but obviously you can't help but keep aggravating it. And it's like, well, I want to work out, and it would to get them completely healed. I'm sure just past practice tells me I'd have to be off working out for at least probably 5 weeks, 8 weeks, somewhere around there, and I'm not doing that. Among Us stream when I'm finally able to play. That's a good question, Morgan. I hadn't thought about that. Oh man, and I gotta get another R2 up. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. I was just looking at my list of games too in Steam, because I'm thinking about, as I told you guys, playing some games just as videos along with the ones we do as streams. And I got looking at Among Us and was like, holy crap, I haven't played that in ages. I think they have another map now and everything, don't they? I don't know. I'll have to. I'll have to see when I can do that. I got my second shot the other day, Willie says. I really need to start complying with the muggers. Hey, well, I'm glad were able to make it, Andrew, today. I'm just saying, I feel like Sad Larry from Cyanide and Happiness, but you're right. Yeah, I mean, and hey, and the thing is, Anbu, there's nothing wrong with feeling sad for a while. I mean, it sucks, but it's the first stage of getting over something. But yeah, bigger and better things will be out there for you. They did just release a new map, Morgan. I thought I had read that. That is a fun game. That, when you guys suggested it and when it first came out, I was lukewarm on it, but yeah, after playing it, it's a lot of fun. Curtis, you struggle with the maps. They already. Oh, I'm always BTG. You know that anything that's to do with short-term memory, I'm gonna struggle with. I'm putting together. I told you guys material with an eye towards going back out and doing stand-up again. And it's stuff I write, and it's amazing how long. See, the funny thing about writing material for stand-up, it's not hard to remember what I want to talk about. But even though a good comedian will make it look effortless, the way they tell a story is very carefully structured. And it's just carefully structured to make the story as effective as possible to the audience. And so putting the right words in the right places to help express exactly what you're trying to get across, rather than just like, the conversation we're having here off the cuff, takes a significant amount of time. And because anything like that, committing it to my memory is such a chore, it's like a grind, because I know the story. Because, basically most of my comedy is stories of things that have actually happened to me. So I know the stories, but it's amazing how long it takes to tell the story exactly how I want to. Saw Godzilla vs. Kong Lude yesterday. My grandson and I went. Nobody else wanted to go. Spaz Kid wasn't even interested in seeing it. I was asking around, and I asked my grandson. He's like, yeah, I want to see it. So, and that one, with all the big effects and everything, I wanted to go to the movie theater. I didn't want to just stream it. So we went out and saw it. That's the first time I've been in the theater since COVID hit. It was fun. We had a really good time. I liked the movie, too. The movie was great. I really enjoyed it. Johnny says, I missed the facade stream because that bitch unbelled your channel. I was so fucking pissed. Oh, Johnny. And the only thing I can say is it's not just us. It's just all over YouTube. They're either just intentional douchebags or they're just not good at running their site because everything is such a mess. Mr. Badlands April Fool's Day edition says, I'm watching it today. That was fun to get. I was going to excerpt that one clip out too, and I forgot to, where I got kicked so fast. I think that has to be close to a record, considering I didn't say melon and I didn't swear at him at Trip when I came in. It was just part, granted, it might have been a little gross, but I didn't swear at him. It was just part of the conversation, and immediately he tossed my ass. I hate him. BTG says, speaking of comedy, I hear Christopher Reeve is terrible at stand-up. Stormstar said, what's a movie theater? We've been in lockdown so long I don't remember. That's basically where I was too, Stormstar. It was fun being back in. Hey, bye, love. YouTube apparently wants to remove dislikes. I don't have a problem with dislikes. It's just another way that YouTube has, because a lot of people think that, like, if they get pissed at a YouTuber, like, well, I'll go dislike his video. Well, as far as from YouTube's perspective, that was never a bad thing. All YouTube cares is that people are interacting with your video. They don't care if you liked it or disliked it, as long as you were watching it. The only way a dislike could have an effect is if maybe if a video had enough dislikes, maybe somebody else might not watch it thinking it's not good. So I don't know why they'd get rid of dislikes. Probably because people are abusing it. They've been doing that forever, where somebody will get just mad at a YouTuber for something and then just, try and get mass dislikes onto them. They've even had numbers of times they've had people buying bots or, utilizing bots to mass dislike videos. Maybe that's why. Andrew says, random, but I want to be freaking wrestler. I know it's beatdown, but I have no clue how to get into it. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Would be awesome. Wow, is that weird, Ambo? You know where I broke into wrestling? Albuquerque, New Mexico. There was a man, he's got to be long gone now. If you ask people around, I'm sure some people, older folks, will remember him. Andrew. His name was Jack Loos, Loos. He was the promoter of the first group I ever worked for and where I first got my first training in the business. I think he was into real estate or something in his day job. But yes, I still remember Jack Loos. Wasn't a big fan of his, but I remember him. And, I'm going to blank out on names now. The man I worked with, his last name, the wrestler, his name was Brody. Last name was Brody. It wasn't Bruiser Brody. It wasn't Frank Brody. I can't remember his first name. I feel bad for that. Yeah, it's not going to come to me. But he was the guy who worked with me first. But Jack Luce was the promoter. Lude says, "Oh yeah, YouTube is removing the dislike counter, not the option, so you can still dislike videos, but it won't show how many dislikes there are, or the like-dislike ratio. They're pointless anyway, though." True, Lude. Yeah, they are pointless. I didn't know about that though. Dragon Sphere says, "Dislikes can show you weren't pleased with the video as a community. It's helpful to creators, if anything." Yeah, and sometimes too, Dragon Spheres, and sometimes, okay. And this is where I guess it gets tough to determine what people are saying. Like, say a YouTuber comes out with and tells a story of something sad or tragic that happened to them. Well, people dislike it because they dislike that something bad happened to the YouTuber. So yeah, it is. It's, I don't know. I kind of get what they're saying. I guess there'd be less confusion. I guess just having the actual like video count, it's kind of hard to misinterpret that. I don't know. But yeah, it's probably not a big deal. Lex says, "Who the fuck was Tripp having an affair with? I doubt he could even manage to step up from Grace." Yeah, that was my take on that too, Lex. When Tripp was talking about, how the affair he was having and how he cheated on her and everything. I just, whose standards dipped that low? Stormstar says, "I was about to say it would have been pretty fucking weird if the last guy you wrestled for Bruiser Brody last, unless you were revealing one of the biggest wrestling conspiracies of all time." No, he wasn't related either, because obviously I asked him. But no, he wasn't related to Frank Brody. Jerry Brody was his first. I think. I don't say. I think he might have wrestled as Jackson Brody, and his real name was Jerry. It was something like that. Typically, I'm good at remembering. Well, I remember Jack Luce's name. Typically, I'm good at remembering the older stuff. I'm surprised I forgot that. They're not pointless. Remember YouTube Rewind? Well, that's true, Joe. Joe makes a good point that horrific YouTube Rewind, it allowed people to make their point with that. That's true. And like Rebecca Black's Friday, it allowed us all to demonstrate exactly what we thought about things like that. So yeah, that's a point. What do you mean? What happened to the facade stream, Willie? It should still be up, isn't it? I don't know what you mean, pal. Let's see. Look, says the Biden administration wants to remove the YouTube dislike button because God knows they have nothing better to be worrying about. Yeah, there's nothing else going on. North Korea isn't getting busy with nukes again. We aren't having major issues at the border. Nah, nothing else to worry about at all. Johnny says, Tripp has a Heisman trophy on the shelf. Don't know how he won one considering he's built like fucking Satchel Paige. Boy, Johnny, old Satchel Paige could fling a baseball, though. God damn. It would have been so cool. I wish they'd have had quality camera equipment back then so we could have seen, because I'm sure they are. If the legends are true, man, that man could throw hard. Dragon says, remove the negative, then it's a cognitive bias. Yeah, true. Willie says, you guys were saying something happened during the stream and how... Oh, can't run their website. Oh, okay, Willie, I see what you're saying. No, what happened was we played a couple rounds, and then I completed a round where Tripp ended up leaving. He left Grace and left me with her, but then the game ended. And then I said, okay, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to be kind of a dick this time. Now, I didn't want to get thrown out immediately, so when he answered the door, I didn't swear, and I didn't say melon, because we all know that gets you thrown out. So I go in, and immediately, all I said to I was playing as a female character. It was Amy, right, guys? My character's name was Amy. I said, I have warts on my vagina. I mean, gross, but seems simple enough. Fucking Tripp whips around and goes, all right, you gotta fucking go. And sent me out the door immediately. And we couldn't figure out why the hell that was such a trigger. Was I ever a fan of DVD stores, Blockbuster? Oh, sure. Sure, I was always a big DVD rental guy on Boo. Yeah, absolutely. Sinister Charlie, good to see you again, pal. Made a few bucks off crypto this month, so here's something. Happy Friday, doggy. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, pal. I don't invest. I own a little. I think I told you guys that before. A little Dogecoin. I sold some of it because I just don't generally invest, but I left a little in there. I can tell you guys what I've got. $230 worth of Dogecoin. It hit a high today so far of about 237. What is it per coin right now? It's at just a hair. It's 0.058, just a hair under 6 cents a coin, which isn't bad. I bought it at just under 3 cents a coin, so I've doubled my money on what's left in there. In other boring news, Dragonsphere says, summer coming to Norway soon. Loving the weather lately. Oh, we had some decent weather, and then today it's freaking cold out there. It's very nipply out there today. Yeah, Stormstar says, fucking rich asshole rubbing our faces in it. That's right. I'm going to take that $230 and rule the world. Oh, Willie, that's brutal. Why aren't there pharmacies in Africa, he says. Because you can't take medicine on an empty stomach. Yeah. Janiac says, I don't wish to be horny anymore. I just want to beat monkey. Yeah, we got, Trevor said it snowed in Pittsburgh yesterday. We didn't get any right where we are, but a lot of the surrounding hills got a good little bit of snow yesterday, yeah. Bob Jones says, have you played Sea of Thieves? No. Thoughts on the company Rareware as a whole? I don't know much of anything about them, Bob, to be honest with you. Sea of Thieves, I don't know either. So unfortunately, I can't help you much on either one of those. I don't really know anything about those. Link says, just found out today that you have to verify your age with a goddamn proof of identity if you want to watch age-restricted videos and live in the EU. On an unrelated note, I got a VPN earlier today. Totally unrelated, I like. And also today, just off the cuff. So we knew that was coming. Jesus Christ. Yeah, not my thing. But again, VPNs aren't going anywhere, so you guys will be just fine. Henry says, I'm going to start collecting music albums and other audio stuff, and I'm just wondering, should I collect vinyl or CD? I'm honestly leaning towards vinyl. The classic look and the spinning is cool to me. Yeah, I think that's a personal preference thing, Henry. Of course, CD has a more pure sound, and vinyl has that more classic sound. See, I would be torn. It would depend on what I was getting, because being an old fart, I remember the days that's all we had to play for music was our vinyl. You had the 45s and the 33 1/3, the big albums, and then you had the little plastic inserts you put in the center of the 45s, which were the singles, so they would sit on the spindle fit on the spindle on the record player. But as much as I get nostalgic for that, with most things, even though I'm an old fart, I like technological advances, and I like the crisp, clean sound of digital. So if it were me, it would probably be CD. But I wouldn't fault anybody for wanting to do the vinyl route, because it is pretty cool. I still like listening to some records on vinyl every so often. It's just fun. It's nostalgic for me. Morgan says, I feel rich after my Biden bucks and tax return, but that's all going towards the house fund. I will own a home before I'm 30, dang it. Hey, Morgan, I think you and your husband are doing great. I love the way you're attacking life and the way you're going about things. You guys are going to do just fine. Just fine. Brian says, love vinyl. You can hear things on vinyl that don't come out that well once digitized. Yeah, and it's got just that cool, even the crackling of vinyl. You know, it's got that cool classic sound to it. I mean, no better way to put it. No, you're right. Bob Jones says, on a Chris Chan topic, group of cretins are trying to convince him to go around and taste people. It's disgusting. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Here's a good question. I'm glad Bob brought this up, and let's just use that as, because I'm not. Oh, well, I don't know. I'll let you guys. One thing I've told you guys, I'll always be honest with you about stuff. I'm not going to make myself out to be something I'm not. I see a lot of, and it's been going on, for years on YouTube. I see a lot of these YouTube pranks and shit like that. Now, if a friend plays a prank on me, I like pranks. I'll laugh along. Hell, you saw some of the shit freaking spaz kid tortured me with the freaking shooting me with the BB gun and and the mouse trap and everything. I like a good prank. I'm not fond of being accosted by strangers. So who's at fault there? Let's say something like this. Like what Bob's talking about. They want Christian to go around and taste people. If somebody comes up to, as old as I am, I don't give a fuck. If somebody comes up to me and tastes me on the street, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face. I don't know who you are, what you're doing, or what's going on. So if I do that, all right, let's say it's a Christian and I break his jaw. Is that my responsibility? Or is it too bad for you, fuckhead, because you're out there antagonizing people? I mean, if people want to make those types of videos, do whatever you want. But then I don't think they have the right to be a little bitch if somebody beats the dog shit out of them for it. Mohammed Apis bin Sanin says, full screen and show full design t-shirt. Oh, okay, you wanted to see the shirt? Oh, this is one of my favorites, Mohammed. This is just the, that's the, one of the final scenes from Death Note. I looked specifically for the shirt, hoping that this one was out there. Morgan knows, because Morgan's a huge Death Note fan. I fucking love that scene, the whole end of Death Note. The death scene, and then Ryuk sitting up there, writing Light's name. Oh, this shirt is one of my all-time favorites. Cthulhu says, beep, beep, his horn went beep, beep, beep. Let's see. Dragon Sphere says, I like pranks, but don't touch me, much less bite me. Right. People be having fun. I'll stab them in the face. Why is Curtis fighting Chris Chan on the street? No, it's just, I'm curious what you guys think about that. I mean, so who's at fault in that situation? My first thought would be they're trying to give me a disease or something. Yeah, me too, Shelby. And in any case, I don't know you. I don't want you that fucking close to me. As far as I'm concerned, you get that close into my space, you're a threat. Yeah, good old Ryuk, Big Green. I love him. I wish Curtis would street ball with Chris Chan. I have issues with how Death Note ended, but that scene was good. See, I know a lot of people did, Big Green. A lot of people had issues with the ending. I liked it. Morgan says, oh my God, yeah, speaking of which, I just found an L shirt on Etsy, and you best believe I snatched that up right away. I bet you did, Morgan. Yeah, Morgan's a big Death Note fan. I love that series. God damn, that's such a great show. Such a cool concept. Kaiser says, can we have contacts about what you're on about, Curtis? I just got on. Oh, we're just talking about pranks, and Bob was saying something about, I guess they're trying to get Chris Chan to go out and taste people. And I was saying, okay, I know me, and I know the way I am about things. And again, I'll preface this by saying I like pranks. I think pranks are fun, and you can prank me with most anything, and I'll laugh it off if I know you. But if you're going to come up on the street to me to prank me, and I don't know who you are, I mean, it's one thing if you're, if you got a remote car running around my feet or something like that, and it's like, okay, trying to annoy me with it, I would laugh that off. But if you're going to actually come up to me and physically do something, like taste me, I'm going to punch you in the fucking face. There's just no two ways about it. That's what I'm going to do. So if that happens, am I responsible, or is the idiot who was doing it responsible? I'm just curious. Bob says, problem is that Christian doesn't know about the consequences of his actions because of constant torture and controls. His autism creates barriers he can't control. Those cretins know that I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it's right at all, Bob. What they're doing to him? No, I'm not saying that's right at all. But that's a case where Chris Chan has got to get somebody somehow in his life to regulate these things, because in that moment, like I'm saying, if I got somebody coming up there to taste me, I don't know what his story is. I just know that I don't want this fucker tasting me, and I'm gonna punch him in the face for it. I'm not gonna have a conversation first to see what his issue is. Let's see. I wonder, and Licks and Chrome said basically the same thing. Isn't there anybody involved in this guy's life then that can take over and get him away from that type of influence? I mean, because again, that's what's going to happen is eventually, at least with me, I'm only going to punch him. You could do it to the wrong person. They're going to shoot him or stab him or something. You would think somebody would be able to intervene there. Cthulhu says, don't touch me randomly in public. That's where I am. For your own safety, I might like it and touch you back. Well, there's always that possibility, too. I don't know why we would be tasting people now, Trevor. I do not know. No, the gang introduced me to Chris Chan Code. I didn't know who he was either until it was a couple months ago. You guys told me about him and the things he had done and stuff. I don't even remember. I'd have to look him up again. I remember looking him up at the time when you guys told me. But Lick says his parents have tried and failed to sort him out, but they've just resorted to locking him away. And Chrome says there is his mother, though she's lost the plot and is near the end now. People tried to help him before. He knows what he's doing. That's what I mean. And it's unfortunate that that's happening to him. But in that moment, it doesn't matter what his motivations were. I just don't want people up that close to me. And it would be particularly bad. Like if I was with my grandkids or my daughter or something, especially like when my daughter who's disabled, I'm on hyper alert whenever she's around, obviously because she can't defend herself. She's blind and sitting in a wheelchair. That's what I always imagine. If somebody comes up to me in any aggressive manner or awkward manner at all, and I'm with her, yeah, something bad's going to happen in a hurry. It's going to be big. Bob Jones says people are trying to get Chris Hansen involved. People have paid cameo messages to Hansen. If that's what's going on, it would be nice to see the guy get some help if he really is genuinely just being manipulated. Brian says, I know you're a men's softball guy. Do you still watch baseball? I'm pissed about the Mets Nationals getting postponed myself. I was watching for baseball being escaped. I love baseball, Brian. Actually, I'm not big into softball, pal. It's always been baseball. That's why I got so excited last year when I was able to play in that league because it was baseball instead of softball. Don't get me wrong. I'll play softball, but I've always been all about baseball at heart. I think women's softball, like the Collegiate Softball World Series every year, is fascinating. They're good ball players. I'm very old school in that, so I love watching the women play because the women's game is so fundamental in general. They're just so good at the fundamentals, moving runners along, hitting behind runners. I mean, I just love the way they play the game. Yeah, baseball's a great escape. It is. My team has the potential to be one of the worst ever this year, the Pirates. They always do, but now this year they've sold off everybody. The team is comprised strictly of untested youngsters and basically journeyman players who've been around the league for a while and are, middle of the road. But that's what the Pirates do because they just want to get a cut of that sweet, sweet profit share money they could give two shits less about winning. Anbu, were comics ever something you liked or not? Oh, huge comic nerd when I was a kid, Anbu. Superhero comics and also the comic strips in the newspaper. I was a fanatic for them. Read those every single day. Couldn't wait for Sundays because on Sunday you had, I don't even know if they still do, who reads the newspaper anymore. They always had the big comics section in the Sunday paper. Yeah, always big on comics. Gimster says, based on what little I've heard from you right now, we're not allowed to taste each other when we meet. When we all meet. Sad times. No, because I did put a very important caveat. If I know people, it's an entirely different situation. If it's not the unknown, if we all get together and there's not multiple, mutual tasting going on, I'm going to be very disappointed and upset. Yarborough says, you had the video earlier about asking if you gained superpowers from the shots. Well, you make it wiggle more than normal. So maybe Goose. Thanks, Yarborough. That's the superpower I would want too. The what would that be? Would that be? No, because if you say wiggle power, it sounds like I've got the power to wiggle, and I do not, especially at my age. To create wiggle for others, what would that power be called? I don't know, but we got to come up with a name for it because I would like having it. I would approve 100%. Yeah, I like that, Yarborough. Xenogame says, hi, recently watched Wonder Egg Priority, Death Parade, and Black Butler. Gonna watch Danganronpa, Durarara, I can never pronounce that one, Cowboy Bebop, love Cowboy Bebop. Going to have a great birthday week. It's on April 7th. I have a week off. Oh, good for you, pal. And happy birthday. Wonder Egg Priority I'd never heard of. Death Parade and Black Butler, of course, I've heard of. Danganronpa, Durarara. That's the one that we really talked about way back in the old reaction video streams. I remember that one coming up. And, of course, Cowboy Bebop is absolute legend. You'll enjoy that, Zeno. I got 2 words for you in Cowboy Bebop. Radical Ed. Such a great character. Let's see. Speaking of baseball, what's your thought on LeBron owning a part in the Red Sox? Code says. Oh, I didn't even know about that. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a part owner or was looking into becoming a part owner. Henry says, if someone does something stupid to someone on the street and he picks the wrong person, and the person beats or kills him, you know what I like to call that? Natural selection, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, that's where I am, Henry. Again, I wouldn't want to kill anybody over tasting me, but I'd sure as shit punch him in the face. And I've always wondered about that. It's like, okay, so now who are you going to say is at fault there? When this person comes back and wants to sue you for their medical bills, it's like, well, don't fucking taste me, you dumbass. Em says, I wish my birthday fell on a day I could take off for work. Yeah, sucks working on your birthday. Philip says, parents went digging through our bookshelf as part of a spring cleaning. Found pictures from their first anniversary. The 32nd was yesterday. I remember you telling me it was 32 years. Maternal grandparents took whole family to Hawaii. Weird seeing them young. Oh, it's gotta be weird seeing them young. Yeah, I used to think the same thing. So when my parents, they've got some of their old early pictures, and yeah, it is. It's almost like disconcerting to see your parents and grandparents when they were that much younger. Yeah, especially me being an old fart. Now, my parents' pictures from when they were young go way back. That was like just barely into cameras and barely evolved from somebody chiseling out the images on a stone. Cthulhu says the human anus? Oh, okay, the human anus. I wasn't getting it. The human anus can stretch 5 inches safely. A raccoon can fit in a hole 2 to 4 inches easily. Don't tick off raccoons, Chris. Oh, that sounds just that way you described it, Cthulhu. That sounds a little uncomfortable right there. Andrew says, once COVID BS is over, would you do a meet and greet? I have said for ages I would love to do a meet and greet. Andrew, it's just it would be so hard to put it all together because again, we've got a decent sized channel. But our community here, as you see, we're at 62 people right now. If we have just one of these streams, we average, typically we max out around 75, 80. If I talk about like a hot button topic, we might go into a couple hundred. It's not enough people really involved to set up a location and have any significant number of them be able to make it. As particularly with as many international folks as we have. We always have had here. We have a huge UK contingency here, always have had. We have a really big, as opposed to what it used to be, a lot of people from Russia, we got a significant number of Middle Eastern people here. So I would be happy to do it. I would save money, put money towards it. I just don't know that we've got enough of an audience that we could get together any number of people at any one location. Chrome says, Chris Chan is genuinely an awful person. He gets manipulated by the internet, but at the same time, him and his mom tried to kill a man by running them over. We know he's autistic but high functioning. Oh, shit. I'll have to read up more on him. I checked into him when you guys first told me about him, but I hadn't thought about it since. Yarborough says wiggle induction. There you go. Wiggle induction. Okay, that's good. I like that. By the way, new map is out on Among Us. Oh, we were just talking about that earlier, Yarborough. Check out Jobless Reincarnation. You'll see yourself as the main character personality-wise. Jobless Reincarnation. Is that a series or something, pal? Jobless Reincarnation. But we were talking about the new Among Us map just a little while ago. We do have to play that again. Morgan says, if someone comes up to me on the street and is aggressive in any way at all, I'm swinging. Yeah. I once chased a guy who mugged me into oncoming traffic. Nice. Way to go, Morgan. Yeah, that's... I don't know. At any point when somebody needs to take actions to directly harm or even just terrify or steal from someone else, I lose any sympathy for them. I mean, I can understand certain things. I just had something. You guys bringing that up, I hadn't even thought about this. I just had something weird to me happen just during the week this week. I was in a local Dollar General store, and I go down one of the aisles, and I see this guy. He's probably, I don't know, maybe mid-30s. As I'm going down the center aisle, I look to the side, and there he is. He's throwing something in his jacket. I'm like, you fuck nut. You know, this is why price is raised for all of us, because people got to go in and steal shit and stuff. So I intentionally walked down the aisle, and I was going to say something to him, and it was 2 bags of rice he was putting in his jacket. And to me, that changed everything. If you're stealing cigarettes, if you're stealing, if you're trying to get out of a store with a flat screen, if you're stealing $180, $200 pairs of sneakers, that's one thing. You're just stealing for shit that you haven't worked hard enough to be able to achieve on your own or to attain on your own, or you're just stealing because you want to take something from somebody. When you're stealing bags of rice, you're starving. That's the way I look at it. So he knew I caught, because he like froze when he saw me coming down, and I saw what he was doing. I said, listen, man. I said, don't steal this shit. I said, don't put it in your jacket. I said, get what you want. We'll just put it with my stuff, and I'll pay for it. And he goes, really? He goes, I appreciate it. He was a good dude. I said, yeah. I said, buy some stuff. I said, whatever you need, get some stuff. And he was over there, and he went just down the aisle. He was picking up some the Kraft mac and cheese things in a cup and stuff like that. And we bought a bunch of stuff and put it out there. And it just made me think of it when you guys said that, because it immediately changed your demeanor. I was pissed when I first saw it, and I'm like, dude's fucking stealing rice. That's you don't steal rice to make a profit. Let's see. Timothy says, so that's what was happening to me a moment ago? What's that, Timothy? I got behind. I'm lost. What's that, pal? I didn't. That's the only thing. I get rambling on so long, I get behind on what the comments are saying. Hold on. Now I lost that one. Yarbrough. Oh, you did. Said Stream Boss Pirating. You did take over as Stream Boss. I'm 31 and I look younger than that. Do you buy love? When I was younger, I looked younger than I was at the time. As I've gotten older, it caught right up. Philip says, in addition to the photos, they also found a book on Hawaii during World War II. That's cool. A souvenir from their trip. They also found a translation from my great-grandfather's journal, from my grandpa's family cross from Holland to Canada. That's really cool, Philip. Especially for somebody like you who's a history fanatic anyway. I mean, for those who aren't with us a long time, Philip's just ridiculous on his historical knowledge. So that's got to be, I mean, that's fun for anybody, learning their own personal family history, but especially for somebody like you, that's got to be cool as hell. I like stuff like that. We've got a lot of big gaping missing holes in our family tree that go back not many generations, just because, like when I told you guys before, my grandmother being from we think, we're not even positive, think she was from Spain. They just know she was trapped in a earthquake at one point, and there's lots of gaps. M says, I'm 30 now, though I've still been carded a few times, which is nice. Yeah, cherish those times, M. we were this past holiday season, my wife was going into a Michael's store. She loves her crafts, and right next door was a liquor store. And my wife's not a big drinker. She'll have a drink here or there. She's not a big drinker. And of course, I don't drink at all. Fuck off, chain. But she likes Bailey's Irish Cream. So I said, hey, the holidays are coming up. I said, do you want me to go get you a bottle of Bailey's? She goes, oh, yeah, that'd be great. So anyway, I go in, I get the bottle of Bailey's, and it's two young guys working at the register. And I put the bottle of Bailey's up, and he starts ringing it up for me, and the other kid's throwing it in a bag for me. And I said, oh. I said, you're not even going to ask me for an ID? And the kid goes, oh, yeah, sorry. He goes, and the kid put it in the bag to him, right in the bag. He goes, yes, sir. He's a douchebag. I would have asked you. He goes, it was just good dudes. Rick says, God, you all complain about being old. Just stop aging, dumbass. That is a solution. Let's see. Oh, Yarbrough says, must heal, boss HP. Oh, okay, yeah, you did. You brought your HP up a little too, Yarbrough. I wasn't even catching what you were talking about at first. I'm dead. Saint Spats. Oh, no, Thomas. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that stuff's... I honestly don't. I don't think that stuff's anything special. Buying somebody some food because again, trust me, I don't make any bones about it. I can be a dick. But I feel bad for somebody that feels like they need to steal bags of rice. There's no reason you're taking bags of rice except that you and or your family is starving. Why else would you steal rice? Going to a wedding? I mean, it's just, you're not gonna. So, yeah. But if, all the stuff, because we put our stuff together and just bagged it separate, I don't know. All the stuff I bought him that day probably cost me $25. I'm sure there's not any of you here that wouldn't have ponied up $25 to help somebody who is starving if you had the money in your pocket. Curtis Hero, right savior of grains. Hey, good to see you, souls. Glad you're here. Stormstar says, growing gray at 27. I'm not bitter about it, honestly. Fucking crappy gene pool I was born into. I told you guys before, I think I had a friend of mine, I haven't seen him in years. His name was Gary. Very vain guy. By his own admission, he would tell you he's extremely vain about his looks. And he started balding, seriously balding, in high school. He used to get so livid that I shave my head because my hair comes in too thick. He used to piss him right off. Look, man, says, really random, but I think PewDiePie is pretty badass with how he responds to hate with such sarcasm and swagger. Like, literally, the dude's so ironic you gravitated to his gangsta badassery. I like Pewdie. Always have. I've said all along, I enjoy Pewdie more now with the content. I'm not a regular viewer, but the content he does now more than with the gaming and stuff. No, I like Pewdie. I agree with you on that. Let me see. Make sure that I didn't miss anybody. Bro says, people guess my age in mid-20s all the time. I'm 33. Yeah, that's again, I used to get that same thing when I was younger. When I was like you, Yarbrough, when I was in my 30s, people always thought I was younger than I was. And then somehow, I don't think I look any older than I am, but I clearly look my age. It caught right up. Because my wife and I kind of switched. Because she's a little older than me. But back when we first got together, her friends would tease her about being a cradle robber because I look so much younger. And now, it's always the opposite. People are always shocked by, if my wife says, I'm 60, they're like, no. And if I tell them, well, I'll be 60 this year, they're like, oh, yeah, that figures. Yeah, I was right. Cthulhu says, just age backwards. Duh. Philip says, Grandpa came here December 23rd, 1948. His brother John came in 49, avoiding the draft for Indonesian War of Independence, along with their sister. They sent for the rest of the family in 1950. That's really cool. See, I wish, just on the curiosity side, I wish we had those kind of trails that we could follow in our bloodlines, Philip. We, again, on both sides, it gets blocked off quickly. My dad's side, we can go back a little further. And cause the only reason we know is Brax had, right before he left high school, he was a senior, he had a project to do, doing your family tree. And we got, well, I shouldn't say that, we got quite a ways on my dad's side. But there was still a lot of dead ends and suppositions that were required in tracing back to any distance at all. Shark Dentures says, I looked older when I was young. At 17, I was at a wedding and a hot late 20s bridesmaid hit on me. Thought I was 25. Best moment of my life. Absolutely. Nice. Now, see, it depends on where you're from, too, because now here in New York, at least I think it is, always was, 17 was always the age of consent. So here you could have banged her and she wouldn't have had to worry about getting in trouble for it later. Oh man. I don't even know what it's like to get hit on. I was going to say it's been so long, but come on, who am I kidding? It never happened. Gibster says, I'm turning 30, and when I went to work, a security guard asked how my older brother was doing. It was my granddad driving. He is 66, and that was an insult for me and compliment for my granddad. Yeah, you're right, Gibster. There's a meeting in the middle somewhere with that comment. Was it more because your grandpa looks young or that you look old? So it all depends on which way the scale falls. That's pretty good. Hey, Rosa. Rosa says, my bloodline goes back this far. My grandpa. Andrew says, I recently was binge watching your Would You Rather videos. Oh, that was fun. That's a fun game. Those are funny as hell. Those are classic, my guy. And just the test vids as well. I had a lot of fun doing a lot of that stuff, Andrew. Yeah, those were fun. The Would You Rathers, I was really surprised. It's just, again, the nature of YouTube, I guess, because interest just waned on those. I really enjoyed those, just like with the chat bots. Interest just started to wane, and we could try them again at some point. It's been years since I've done one. Those were a lot of fun. Even I've seen that somebody, I was on Omegle not too long ago, just checking out because somebody on social media was saying something about its revival or that there's a lot of attention on Omegle again, and we had a blast trolling on there. And I checked it out, and yeah, the numbers on Omegle are up again. If I ever did Omegle, though, I would do it. I had fun doing it with those characters. I would bring back Roger the dog who likes to get high. Specifically, I always thought that was a fun character to do. And because that one it's fun to go on Omegle and do something that gives people, instead of overtly trolling or something, just gives people a laugh and a smile, because Roger was just a fun character. Let me see. Yarborough says, news says someone crashed a car into the barrier at the Capitol building. DC police report having to fire upon someone according to report. Damn, dude. What the hell is going on? I mean, this country really, really is on edge. I take no joy in saying that, but god damn, it's true. I don't know when something's going to give and what exactly is going to give, but something's gonna. Mike says, I like the EU as a concept just because I would like Europe to be as united as possible, but in practice it's just a bunch of idiot bureaucrats sitting around and making rules based on basically nothing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not as well versed on EU issues and issues of Europe in general as I should be, but I completely get what you're saying. But I think idiot bureaucrats sitting around making rules based on basically nothing, I think that describes most legislative bodies, though. Luckman says, do you still hate Jessica Hoare? Remember her? Have you forgiven her for her douchebag personality? No, she's still a twat. They say you shouldn't hold a grudge, so I'm assuming you moved on. Nah, I hold grudges. I had forgotten about her, Luckman, until you said it again. Jessica Hoare. Yep. Those were fun. Those really were. I could try those again. I mean, just to give me an idea, how many of you guys would be interested in stuff like that, like doing the Would You Rathers, maybe even the Omegle trolling, Or put it this way, for those of you that have been with us for a while, what other types of videos had we done in the past that you enjoyed, you'd like to see again? Jessica Horse, she was from one of the games we played. What was the name of the game, you guys? Shit. What was the name of that game? Would you rather? Oh, definitely the Would You Rathers, Jack. Those are fun. And again, like I said, the one thing is, one of the reasons I enjoy doing them is, well, you guys know me. I'm not shy about who I am, whatever it is, for better or worse. It's who I am. So those are fun because I'll tell you honestly what I would do as far as Would You Rather. Luck Vince says, me, I hold a grudge. People told me not to hold grudges. Would you rather? A lot of people saying, would you rather? Love still. Yeah, that's the problem with Simmy Storm Stars. You never know. Sometimes he's still his same old batshit crazy abrasive self. And then other times we'll go on and play it and he's like, no, please don't say that word. You hurt my feelings type thing. And it's like, you're not Simmy. Get the fuck out of here. Would you rather? Story time. I like the story times with Curtis. Those mostly, that stuff with thinking about going back on stage, Chrome, most of those are going to be potential material. And I'll be posting that at the Curtis Candy channel. But I'll give you guys here a heads up as I get more done with that. But the comedy stuff is going to be over there. Let's see. When we get in some Catherine gameplay at some point this month, that's a sponsored series. Coltonius is still sponsoring it, so there will be at least one more this month. I like doing the chat bots, Kyle. They were fun. Do you remember the game that isn't a game? Yeah, what was that? I remember that name. I can't remember what the gameplay was, though, pal. I remember that name. Shit, I can't remember now. I can't remember that one. Let's see. Shark Dentures says, Curtis, have you seen the Bully Maguire video series? No. Came across it and thought it was good for a laugh. Bully Maguire. No, I don't think I've seen that. I missed the joke streams too, Wix. Those we can do again now that YouTube's backed off a little bit with their psychosis, because I don't monetize these streams anyway. So we could do joke streams again. I stopped them for a while because YouTube was threatening to get rid of anybody that said anything offensive, and when Susan was on the rag. But now you don't have to worry. As long as you're not monetized, you don't have to worry about it too much. And I refuse to monetize the streams, other than like the gaming stream I might monetize. But any of these, I don't monetize them because I don't want to have to be concerned about what we talk about. I want us to be able to talk about whatever we want. Gimster says, the split personality VTuber I told you about has become one with herself. Hachama and Akai Hato have talked to each other to a point of peace. She still has a scar on her neck from her battles. That's freaky, Gimster. Wow, that's some freaky stuff. There's a lot you could dive into there. That might be a scary wormhole to go down, but there's a lot to dive into. Fluffy says, was Godzilla versus King Kong as good as Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant? As someone who's not generally a big fan of Hulk Hogan's matches, that was a classic. So Zilla versus King Kong was good, but it might not measure up to that. Oh, okay, I got you. I'm sorry, Timothy. I'm slow. I was referring to the unexplainable random wiggling I was experiencing when I first looked upon you earlier. I like that. Unexplainable random wiggling. You know what, Timothy? I think most everybody's getting that, just not everybody's willing to admit it. I admire the fact that you are willing to. I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to ignore anything you guys say to the contrary. Yarborough says, I can respect that I am who I am and won't hide attitude. Also, yes, Jobless Reincarnation is an anime, cute and deep at the same time. Huh, it's an anime. Oh, okay. No, I don't know anything about that one. Yeah, the way I've always looked at that, especially if you want to, if you want to have a community, like is what I've always envisioned for this. That's all I wanted to have, was a nice community element to the channel since it began. The one thing you got to be is honest with people. So if you guys ask me something or we hit on something that I'm not comfortable talking about, I won't make something up. I'll just tell you, nah, I don't want to talk about it. I don't think we've ever No, I don't think we've ever hit that point, though, have we, guys? I don't think you guys have brought up anything or asked me anything that I wasn't willing to talk to you about. That's why it always makes me laugh. I always get people every so often because I've told you I have to keep putting drops in my eyes because my eyes dry out so bad. It's just a combination of, again, I get up at 5:30 every single morning, 7 days a week, every day, unless I'm on vacation and have done videos ahead of time every day. It's just long days. That and being in front of the computer screen, my eyes are always red. I put drops in right before we started this stream. So if I forget to put drops in, I record a video, my eyes are just fire red. And every time that happens, you'll get somebody in there going, "Oh man, you're so baked. Why do you say you don't smoke pot when you're obviously so baked?" You really think that with all the things that I've told you guys about myself, all the things I've admitted to, all the things I've openly discussed, I would have a problem telling you guys if I smoke pot? You think that's my line? It's called There Is No Game. You played with Spaz Kid. That's what I mean. I kind of remember that, but I can't remember any of the specifics about it. I again, you know, what you were describing was familiar to me, but unsurprisingly, I couldn't remember the specifics once we started playing it. Demon Curtis, yeah, Shark Dentures. Yeah, Alex, no, you're actually a massive stoner. But that always makes me laugh because sometimes you'll see it from people who I've seen around here for a while. It's like, yeah, that would be the thing that I would be afraid to tell somebody. Rosa says, but pot is like actually really, really bad. So yes, fuck you, you're fake. Chrome says, by the way, here's a link on to the channel doing an ongoing documentary on Chris John with the vid count. Yes, there's that much content. Okay, hold on. Let me open that real quick. Geno Samuel 2.1 comprehensive history. Wow. I guess. I'm gonna bookmark that, Chrome, so I can refer back to it. Well, I always do this. I always bookmark stuff and then never get time to actually watch it. I'm going to bookmark it anyway, just in case I can. Where should I put it here? Okay. Thank you. Where are we? Philip, thanks for the pussy pink sky. I still remember magenta. It's amazing to me. We went months where I couldn't remember the M word. And then once it finally stuck, it seems like it stuck permanently because we don't even use magenta anymore, and I remembered it. I'm just very proud of myself. But pussy pink rules now. Philip says, yeah, I get that. Europe's history before the EU is filled with bloodshed. Except for the Balkans and Russia and the Ukraine, it's unprecedentedly peaceful. Belgium was literally created to keep France and Germany from invading each other. Didn't work. I didn't know that. Belgium was created to keep France and Germany from invading each other. Wow, I did not know that. Yeah, I wish, you know, as I said, Philip, in my own family, our own familial structure, I wish we could get back further. We know, again, we got on my father's side, we got back to the UK region. There was British, Irish, Scottish, all in there. The one thing I will say is of some of the people from generations ago that Brax could track down and we're pretty sure were actual lineage of ours on my dad's side. They had people back when the life expectancy was like 34, 35, living to 84, 85 years old. So maybe I am going to be tough to kill. I'll say that and I'll die after the stream, but but at least it's something to give me a little bit of hope. Joe says you looked really stoned after the shot. That's a perfect example. That one, Joe, as much as I wasn't feeling well, that's why my eyes were a little glassy, but I forgot to pop drops before I made that video. But we know you don't do that. Don't remember you refusing to talk about anything, but you did refuse to nip slip? I refused to nip slip? Oh, If I refuse to take off my shirt, it's just because I don't I don't feel like taking off my headphones or something, take off my shirt. You guys know I'm not shy about nudity either. I'm not shy about much of anything. But you're right, in that video I did look stoned as hell. But that's why at that time of day, if I don't pop in a couple drops, my eyes are just fire red. They're so dry. You drinking yet? That's another thing. Drunk, I don't drink. And drinking for me, I've told you guys too, in the past, I've had people that were convinced I don't drink because bad experiences with it or family experiences. I don't drink because A, I just don't like alcohol. And B, a lot of people drink to loosen up. If I get any looser, I'm just fucking going to jail anyway. There's nothing I won't do sober. That's all I need is something to take me to that next level. He forgot to catch himself in the eye, Jack says. Poppy says, as I say, I dodged a bullet. Had the cyst had a gap. Oh, I didn't see what you're talking about, Poppy. The cyst would have been cancer. A fucking gap was the difference between annoying inconvenience and cancer. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I would say that's I didn't get the whole conversation, but that would definitely be classified as dodging a bullet. Gimster says, maybe I will be tough to kill. How many chair shots you take? That's a good point. That's a good point. I was told by a doctor, well, actually more than one, that with the number of chair shots I took and the number of concussions I've had, that I shouldn't be Now, some people would argue that I'm not functioning, but regardless, I shouldn't be functioning at any level, certainly not functioning the way I do now. And to be perfectly fair, I've told you guys, I stay in contact with my old wrestling buddies, and I'm older than most all of them. And I have among the least amount of injury issues of any of them. Right now, the only thing that bothers me day to day is these shoulders. And as I said, they're getting better. Yarborough says, I still think we should call that color Strawberry Fields Forever with the melody of the song each time. Also show us your titties, Yarborough says. I love that song too. Strawberry Fields, nothing is real. Amo says, are you still running for POTUS? I don't think so. I was debating on that. You know what? Who the hell wants that job? On one side of the coin, it'd be like, man, it would be fun to be able to try and fix things. Because to me, anyway, you guys know we've talked about it. There are so many hot topic issues that there are obvious, legitimate, real fixes for that we'll never get to because everything is so polarized. Then the other side of the coin is, boy, to do that job, you'd have to work with a bunch of dipshits. Because as soon as Congress is involved, you're working with a bunch of dipshits. Morgan says, wine all day, air a day. I like the dry stuff. There you go, Morgan. Rosa says, talking about Belgium didn't have a government for a year, which puts them as a record holder for longest no government country without going into instability. I didn't know that either. That's pretty fantastic. A year? And they didn't destabilize? Yeah, that's amazing. That's you would think you'd devolve into anarchy within a year. Hey, Spaz Kid! Yeah! And he says, fuck all y'all. Now that's a quality greeting. He's coming home later today. I'm pumped. Today, as I told you guys, today's my wife's birthday. It's his mom's birthday, so he's coming home, and he'll be here right through till Easter with us. So I'm excited. Spaz, I'll fight everyone who wants some and lose. McCrody says, if you had to, would you rather get rid of your pop collection and never watch your favorite anime again? Oh, I love those pops, but they're fucking gone. And I don't even know what my favorite would be, but you're not, if I could never again watch, fill in the blank, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, oh geez, the list goes on and I don't want to leave anybody out. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. There's so many things that are just elite level anime for me. Death Note. That I really enjoy the gang here, but they'd have to go. They're out. Sorry guys, you fucking lost. Philip says, speaking of people living a long time, The oldest person alive is a 118-year-old Japanese woman. Over time, someone takes that position. It's always a Japanese woman. Doesn't that yeah? Because I've always been interested in that, Philip. You're right. You're right. It seems like it's always a Japanese woman, as you said, and it's not even, and I mean specifically a Japanese woman, not even Asian. Although probably the information we get from like China and stuff, we don't know if it's true or not anyway. But it's not like just the Asia region. It's Japanese woman. Yeah, because that's something I've always been fascinated with. I mean, that goes back to the days of when we would read the Guinness Book of World Records book, and the Guinness show was always on there, always talking about who is the oldest current living person. And Philip, well, he's always right on that stuff. 100% right. So much of the time, it's Japanese females. And the thing that gets me about Japanese women, I guess guys too, but you really notice it with the women, is how well, in general, I mean, we're stereotyping here, but in general, how well they age too. Their skin just holds up like amazing. Yarborough says, hashtag taste spaz kid. On video, it'd be cute. Cthulhu, just polished my boots. Very old leather combat. Oh, really? No, those are the type of boots they mean when they say put the boots to someone. The old combat boots. Timothy says, of course, Belgium was okay. They have chocolate and waffles to keep them stable. Good point. Belgian chocolate and Belgian waffles. Excellent point. That's true. If I had a steady diet of Belgian chocolate and Belgian waffles, I wouldn't be anarchistic either. An anarchist. No. I'd be like, oh, cool. We don't have a government yet? All right. Can we have waffles? Yeah, I'm completely with you, Timothy. 100%. No, still no government? Give me some of the chocolate. Don't care. Boots to assess. Or boots to, zombie warrior. Boots to asses, yeah. Yeah, those are the boots. Put the boots to a medium style, Philip says. Chrome says he can always replace the pops with proper figures. I can't afford to. He can replace them in Nendoroids. They're stylized, but like in a good way. I have some pops that I've been replacing them with self-respect. Oh, Chrome. Oh, don't listen, gang. Chrome's being mean. You're right. Those are cool. I think I told you. I've seen those in showcases on a number of occasions. Most notably, and unfortunately, it seems like the last time I went to the Japan store in Epcot, they didn't have as many anime figures. Could have been just stock was down at the time. But yeah, they've got them down there. Box Lunch had a couple. I don't remember which maker, but you know, the higher end ones. They are cool. But I can't afford to fill shelves with those. I'd like to. Yarborough says, I'm personally a fan of Belgian beers. Are you, Yarborough? That, not being a beer drinker, I don't know, but I know they're expensive. Well, probably expensive here because they're imported. Duh. Figure it out, Curtis. Big Green says, look at my Funko Pop impression, and puts that face out there. Really? Rosa was saying this Stormstar. See, I don't know much, again, and that's to my fault, about European finances, culture, so on and so forth. Rosa says, actually, Belgium is the economic center of Europe, and without Belgium, the European economy is very fucked. That's interesting. Excuse me. Luckman says, thoughts on Gordon Ramsay. I like Gordon Ramsay. I don't have an opinion on him, as I can understand why he gets irritated by idiocy, but I can understand that people make mistakes, aren't perfect, as I'm an idiot as well. No, I like him. I think he does get irritated, and he's clearly, you can make the case he's too edgy, but I think he's genuine, and I think that's really who he is. And when you get beyond that, though, and you see him like in the shows with the kids and stuff, he seems like a good dude. And you see him in interviews and things, he does seem like a decent guy. I like him. And, I think his stance on that is, because working in a kitchen in a high-end restaurant is, being a chef in a high-end restaurant is a high-pressure job. I mean, there's big money involved. And I would imagine his take is, if you can't handle that kind of heat, the job's not for you. Chrome says, I can actually get good quality figures for a decent price. Bandai Namco sells Dragon Ball, FMA, MHA, Demon Slayer, and basically every anime series figure for 20 to 35. That's not bad. That's not bad. See, the ones I saw, Chrome, and again, I forget the maker names of them. There's one specific, I think I would know it if you said it. But anyway, the ones I saw are typically starting at like 80, 90, and go up from there. But yeah, that's not so bad. Excuse me again, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, bye, love. Thanks for being in. Jack Queen says, me and Licks are going to battle to the death for the Brit title. It's only fair. That'll be, oh man, that's an Hajime no Ippo level fight. We'll put that on pay-per-view. McCrody says, Curtis, have you ever thought about letting people send you mail? I actually have a P.O. box for it, and I was so bad, I get so busy about not doing unboxings. I still have the P.O. box, but I don't advertise anymore. I still have stuff over there to unbox, and I had completely forgotten about it till you just wrote that. I can't even tell you how old that stuff might be. We got to do an unboxing now, just, if for no other reason, because I keep the stuff right there, just to take a look at the postmarks and see what a freaking dunce I am for letting them sit there that long. Gimster says, another random tangent for you if you're willing to get lost in another game. Monster Hunter World. I've heard of that one. I've gotten about 750 hours in there. I'm still not a true heavy hitter. The community helps a lot. I've heard of that. I don't know anything about it, Gimster, other than the title, but that one I've definitely heard of. I think we've talked about that one here at the channel before, too. Again, I don't know any of the details, but that title is familiar to me. Oscar Villanueva says, I love all your reactions to watching them. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say. Appreciate it. Johnny says, chef is one of the most competitive positions in the world. You can't be a bitch. That's what I'm thinking too, Johnny. I'm thinking that's by design. To be honest, especially because if you're going to work in one of Ramsay's restaurants, you're going to, as the head chef, you're going to be making a shit ton of money. So my personal opinion is, I think his thinking is, if I'm going to be paying you all this money, if you can't handle this kind of pressure, I don't want you, because you're not worth that kind of salary to me. Anbu said, Curtis, smell it or taste it? No more context? I'm supposed to pick one without context? No. That's a loaded question. That would be a toss the coin. Heads that smell it, tails that taste it, because there's no good outcome to be had from that. Code says, is it just me or March Madness this year is a snooze fest? I was just talking to my grandson about my grandson's a sports fanatic. I'll tell you, Code, and it's nothing, no specific reason behind it, but this is the least involved I've been with March Madness in I couldn't tell you how many years. So it's not just me and it's not just you. At least it's the two of us anyway. It hasn't attracted me at all. I mean, I'll watch a game. I got nothing against it. If I sit down and the game's on, I'll watch any two teams play. I enjoy watching any sport, but I love a good basketball game. But no, hasn't attracted me at all this year. Morgan says, I'm trying to start a diet and exercise routine to lose about 10 pounds. I'm so out of shape. Just 5 minutes leaves me winded. All right. You'll get there, Morgan. You'll get there, though. No doubt about that. And just from pictures I've seen and stuff, 10 pounds, that's got to be significant for you, because you certainly don't appear out of shape. I can say, I'm not actually out of shape. I'm a shape. It's just round. Let's see. Lud says, I am quite the heretic. Mike says, you don't really know much about Monster Hunter World. The name kind of explains exactly what the game is about, does it? That's what I mean. I wouldn't even know that if the name is on the nose or not. I just remember it being talked about a lot. Philip says, my son John was tall and slim, and he had a leg for every limb. But now he's got no legs at all. They were both shot away by a cannonball. Yikes! That's a dark limerick right there. That has to be from one of the wars of years gone by. Cthulhu says, I feel like I'm one of the few 22-year-old people who can actually polish black leather. Yeah, if you can do a good polish job on black leather, I would agree with you. absolutely a lost art. And somebody of your age to be able to do that skillfully, yeah, I think you would be in very rarefied air. Andrew says, what I always thought was it's pretty interesting that you and my father are both Cowboys and Notre Dame fans and diehard that. Oh, really? Is he? Your dad's an ND fan? Yeah. And I've always been a Cowboys fan as well. I've always been like that. I believe in you should have that allegiance, so I don't ever switch teams. I've had all my favorite teams since I was a kid. But college football is the even bigger deal to me. Well, you guys know that. I get a little over the top fanatical about Notre Dame. And to be honest, the way it's unfolding, Anbu, the Cowboys should have a hell of an offense this year. Defense, we'll see. But the offense should be really good. Sploosh says, Curtis, what's your opinion on Barry Bonds? I just don't get it, Sploosh. Why? It was just such an ego trip that he went on the juice. Because Barry Bonds, before he started juicing, was considered by many to be the best player in the game. He was phenomenal. You know, he hit for average. He'd hit you a bunch of home runs every year. Great fielder, speed, everything. But from what they say, and it would make sense, he saw the whole McGuire-Sosa thing and them getting all that attention. And he was like, well, nobody's going to show me up for attention. And it went, boom. And he wanted to hit home runs. Do I think he should be in the Hall of Fame? I'm all over the place on that. My tendency is to say no. Just because, come on, his numbers are inflated. They're wildly inflated. And I know people will argue that saying, well, listen, steroids don't give you muscles. You can take them, but you still have to do the working out. Right. But you can get to levels of strength and endurance that normal people not on those drugs cannot achieve. We know that. And it's just not fair that it was against the rules. Him and others did it, and they broke all these records that really are meaningless because who knows how many home runs Hank Aaron would have hit if he was juiced out of his mind. I don't know. It's a tough call. I just don't get it. Barry Bonds was going to be in the Hall of Fame anyway. You know, it's not like somebody who needed that extra boost to stay in the league or something. He was elite. He was the best of the best and still decided he needed to juice up. Andu says, I think I came out as a disappointment. I like the Arizona Cardinals. And I like the LSU Tigers. No, I think that's fun to, excuse me, have a little bit of a mix. Now, I'm a Cowboys fan. My son-in-law is a Bears fan, and my grandson likes the Jaguars. So it's fun. You know, he just went an entirely different direction. Now with college, he roots along with us because my son-in-law is Syracuse. I'm Notre Dame, and my grandson likes both of those. But no, it's fun to mix it up a little bit when you have a different perspective. Philip says, each foreign war I will denounce between the King of England and the King of France, for I'd rather my legs where they used to be than the King of Spain and his whole navy. That's some good stuff, Philip. I like those. Pressure at the top to remain there must be worse than just falling short of it. In most anything, I think that's true, Jack. But just my opinion. I have no way of getting inside someone's mind. Just my opinion. I think it was just because his ego was so big he couldn't take somebody else getting all that attention, and he wanted to hit the long ball more. I don't think he would have had trouble staying on top for quite some time because he really was a gifted baseball player. But maybe. I just think that's what it was. I think it was him seeing McGuire and Sosa, who were also on the juice train, getting all that attention for hitting the long ball, and Barry was like, well, you're not going to upstage me. Now I'm a long ball hitter too. Where am I in One Piece Wolverine? I just watched today. It's not at the Goose yet, but I just watched 722 today. We're really getting into the well, I can tell you what happened was I just found out that Law, while they're fighting Dofi, Law wasn't dead. Law just came back and stabbed him with that spear of power there. So that's right where I am. Boy, that's such a great series. All right, guys. Well, I gotta go, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, this is a great free for all. Well, all free for all Fridays are great. This was a particularly great one. I love these conversations. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and doing these. And I will try. Again, this is a busy weekend. My wife's birthday today, and Spaz Kid's home for the weekend and everything. But as soon as I can stream again, I will try and get another one. I know I get a lot of requests for the reaction video streams. I'll try and get another one of those up. I'll try and get RDR2 back up there. We'll see. Maybe instead of going to some pre-played games on the channel, maybe I'll give another shot to Would You Rather or something like that. If you guys, earlier in the stream, people were talking about liking to see them again. Maybe we can go visit Mitsuku again or something. Let's just see and just play it by ear and see what people like. But the one thing we do know we all like is some sweet, sweet sticky stuff. Goose, goodbye indeed, Gimster. And we know that Friday sticky stuff, free-for-all Friday sticky stuff, is the sweetest. And Spaz Kid's coming home today. It's my wife's birthday, which means not only is it my wife's birthday, but I get to eat cake, and I'm a fat kid who's gonna eat cake. You are not going to get happier, more sugar-infused sticky stuff than I'm going to send your way right now. Pampu, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you. Oh yeah, make sure you get it all. Make sure you have the official sticky stuff fanny pack on, because you're gonna want to save that for later. It's good for more than one meal, because we'll bang, okay? Flashy like Buggy, and as always, most importantly, and as I said, it's always so sweet. Goose.